Good evening, everyone. Welcome to module number 8, Methodology. This is Technology Research 1. So for the intended learning outcomes, you are expected to demonstrate understanding on the different components included in Chapter 3 of the research proposal. Examine examples of each part of Chapter 3 of the research proposal and develop comprehensive and well-written Chapter 3 of the approved research title. Ang Chapter 3, pansinin po ninyo ang tatlong I. Ang ginagamit po natin ay Roman numerals sa ating document. So chapter 1 is chapter I, then chapter 2, dalawang I, and chapter 3, ganito. So Roman numerals. So chapter 3 of a research report is the methodology. It may vary depending on the university, but for SLSU, chapter 3 is the methods. From the word itself, method, pamamaraan, kung paano ikakandak ang research. So this portion of the academic paper explains in full details the procedures to be followed in the conduct of research. We're talking about procedures. Kung gagawa ka ng module o gagawa ka ng pagkain, paano mo ito gagawin step by step? From the beginning up to the end, paano mo i-evaluate, paano i-check ang acceptability, titikman ba siya, etc. So napakahalaga ng methodology kasi yung ibang mga researchers na nagbabasa, titingnan ito para ma-replicate at magaya niya kung ano ang iyong ginawa in a different context. So sharing of technology or sharing of knowledge is much more easier kung madaling maintindihan ang methodology. So it includes the following. If you have descriptive research, you will follow the research locale, the population and sampling, the research design, research instrument, the data gathering procedures, the evaluation criteria, and the statistical treatment. So ito ang laman ng chapter 3 ng descriptive research. Isa-isahin natin yan later. If you have developmental research, katulad po nung sa mga gagawa ng modules or gagawa po ng pagkain, na recipe, at saka po yung gagawa ng trainer, you'll have the following. The research locale, the respondents. Pansinin po ninyo na dito, population and sampling ang ginagamit, pero pag developmental, we use respondents. Then we do have also the research design, just the same. We also have the research instrument, the data gathering procedures. Then meron po tayong work plan, which is somehow kakaiba or additional pag developmental research. Meron din po tayong system or project development. Kung ikaw ay computer programming at ang i-develop mo ay mobile application, so itong part na to ay system development. Kung ikaw ay trainer at meron kang i-invent na technology, ang tawag po natin dyan ay project development. So we also have planning, under that, designing, kapag po ikaw ay commodity, like sa FSM na pagkain, ang tawag po doon ay process development. Then, you have the use case diagram whenever it is applicable. Kung hindi applicable ito, kasi ginagamit usually po ito ay sa programming, sa computer programming. Activity diagram, entity relationship diagram. Naiintindihan ito ng mga computer programming kasi inaaral nila ito sa major. Pero kung ikaw naman ay electrical at iba ang gagawin mo, so maaaring wala itong tatlo, but still you do have the designing part kung saan mo ipapakita yung disenyo ng iyong gagawing output or invention. Then programming, kung comprog, kung hindi, hindi ito kasama. Most of the time, kung ito ay project development, ang nakalagay dito sa part ng programming ay fabrication. Kung paano mo siya ipa-fabricate. Step by step, magugupit ka ba ng lata, magwe-welding ka ba, yan, gagamit ka ba ng lathe machine, etc. Then, installing and uploading, kung applicable, pwedeng lagay o hindi. So, kung ano man yung contextualize na applicable sa inyong project, edi yun po ang ilalagay natin. Ang hindi lang pwedeng mawala, syempre, we have the planning, the designing, then we do have the testing, the finalization, and the evaluation. We also have the project technical description, the operation and testing procedures, the evaluation criteria, and the statistical treatment. So the two research approaches are the only ventures that the students enrolled in this course, Technology Research 1, will pursue. So let's proceed to the discussion of each part. Let's start with the research locale. When we talk about the research locale, ibig sabihin ay saan gagawin ang study. Research locale is a term that refers to a specified area or subject that is being studied in a research project. Ang research lokal, example, I will show you a sample thesis. Yan, this is chapter 3. You can see my screen?
Opo.
Okay.
Yes,
So,
sir.
chapter 3, walang page. Gaya ng napag-usapan natin noong nakaraan, ang opening ng mga chapters ay walang page. Pero yung kasunod ay meron. So, may introduction. You can copy this part. Pwede rin namang gumawa ka ng sarili mo. Pwede mo ring i-rephrase. No? Pag kinopya mo, edi magpa-flag ito as plagiarized, pero allowed tayo up to 10% of plagiarism na kinopya. So, ibig sabihin, yung mga ganitong introduction ay medyo tolerable. No? So, this chapter presents a comprehensive overview of the fundamental methodologies and procedures employed in the conduct of this research. The study encompasses various components, including the research design, research locale, research instrument, data gathering procedures, and project development. So this is the research locale. Ang kailangan lang nating malaman dito, saan siya ginawa. So the prototype was created and tested at Southern Luzon State University, Lucena Campus, Lucena City. This also served as the end user of the trainer, where both faculty and students may use the trainer for educational purposes. So isipin mo, saan mo gagawin? Kapag ito ay proposal dahil hindi pa tapos at hindi mo pa nagagawa, ito ay future. So the prototype will be created and will be tested at Southern Luzon State University, Lucena Campus. Kung ito ang lokal mo, kung gagawa ka ng trainer at ginawa mo ay sa Barangay Pagbilao, ay di, Barangay Talipan, ay di ilagay mo ay Talipan. Kung ikaw ay descriptive at nakalagay doon ay yung scarcity of ingredients sa Tayabas, so your research local is Tayabas. You can limit as well saan sa Tayabas, baka certain barangays lamang ang involved. So, i-detail mo sa research local na ito lamang yung pagdadausan o paggagawan po ng research. Ano po? Naiintindihan? Madali lang, di ba? Nagigets po?
Opo.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let's proceed to the next part, which is the population and sampling and respondents. Kailan natin ginagamit ang population and sampling? Kapag anong format ng research?
Descriptive.
Descriptive. Kapag developmental, we use the term respondents. Okay. So respondents are those persons who have been invited to participate in a particular study and have actually taken part in the study. Kung ang study mo ay mag-interview. Kung ang study mo ay may involvement ng mga indigenous people, so ang iyong population at ang iyong sample ay yung mga IPs. Kung mga bakery, so you need to detail bakery owners ba o yung bang bakers, so they are your population. When we talk about developmental research respondents, this refers to those people who will validate or check the workability ng inyong device. So sila yung mga respondents po natin. Halimbawa, gumawa ka ng trainer for electronics technology, ang respondents mo ay mga experts in the field of electronics technology, plus possible din na isama yung mga end users o yung mga electronics students. No? So, example goes like this, respondents. And the respondents of this study for the evaluation of acceptability include, i-detail ninyo kung ilan, 5 electrical engineers, tapos 5 electrical trainers for building wiring installation NC2, and all electrical students who were chosen purposively. The respondents tested and evaluated the trainer according to the design parameters, and a questionnaire was utilized for the trainer's acceptability. Ang tinatanong ng panel dito palagi, bakit 5 ang engineers at bakit 5 ang electrical trainers? Saan mo kinuha yung number na yon? So, kailangan mo sagutin kung saan siya nanggaling. Pwede mong sabihin na ang available electrical engineers po sa aming lokal ay 5 lang. So, all-out enumeration po ito, kaya po 5 lang po. Ang electrical trainers din po for building wiring installation sa aming lokal ay 5 lang din po. So, kaya po ito yung amin pong respondents po. Katulad nitong electrical students, kung hindi naman lumalampas ng 100 ang electrical students o yung end users, edi all-out enumeration na po ang gagamitin natin. Lahat na ng estudyante na involved ay mag-e-evaluate ng inyong device na ginawa. Kung ito po ay pagkain, it goes the same. Bakit 5 experts sa food ang iyong kinuha? So you need to justify at the same time. So those were the respondents. So based on your study, you can identify kung sino ang iyong pupuntahan na mga tao after mong magawa ang iyong device. O kaya naman ay sa data gathering. So for developmental studies, they will use... Yes po, may question? Wala naman. So you will be using the term respondents. This refers to the evaluators or experts in the field that will measure the acceptability of the proposed computer program or trainer, etc. X. Kung descriptive ang study mo, you will be using the phrase population and sampling. Ngayon, kung sobrang laki ng population, to determine the sample size of the population, a formula by Slovin noong 1960 is given to para mapaliit natin yung sample. No? Kaya tayo gumagamit ng word na sampling. Halimbawa, ang target population mo ay lahat ng grade 2 students. Sa Lucena, libo-libo sila. So, hindi mo kayang kuhaan lahat sila ng data. So, gumagamit tayo ng Slovin's formula para mapaliit natin yung sample size. So, descriptive. Sino yung nagtanong kanina na descriptive daw ang kanyang pag-aaral? Sino nga yun? Nakalimutan ko na.
Alvero po.
Alvero yata, sir.
Alvero, ikaw ba? Nandiyan ka, Alvero?
Yes po.
Anong study mo nga, ma'am?
Yung descriptive po yung sa assessing challenges and coping mechanism in food sourcing in Tayaba City as a growing city po.
Okay. Sa palagay mo, sino po ang iyong population?
Sir, yung mga yung mga small businesses and enterprises po sa Tayabas and also the local farmers po. Siguro.
Okay. Ay di dalawa ang iyong respondents, ano? So i-detail mo kung bakit kung bakit ilan yung pinili mo. Let's say kung 10 o 25. Ngayon, kung sa buong Tayabas ay mayroong 500 na farmers, hindi mo lahat sila makukuhanan ng data, di ba? So, if that will be the case, you will be using the Slovin's formula. So, this is the Slovin's formula. That's small n is equals to the big N all over 1 plus big N times E squared. So, yung N na small stands for the sample size, N na big, that's the population size, and E is the margin of error. Ang ginagamit po natin ay 5% or 0.05. So error is the percentage allowable for non-precision since a sample is used instead of a population. Ito yung, kasi kung kukuhain mo yung lahat ng 500 farmers, edi medyo mataas ang accuracy noon. Pero pag ginamit mong Slovin's formula, dahil kumukuha ka lang ng kaunting sample mula sa certain population, may kaunting margin of error yon. Pero acceptable pa rin yun kasi 5% lang naman ang margin of error. Ang accuracy rate mo pa rin ay 95%. So let's say for example, meron kang 200, no? So n is equals to, itong n na to, substitute natin ng 200 all over 1 plus, palitan ang big N ng 200 at i-multiply natin sa margin of error na 0.05 squared. So, I hope you know your math well. Basic lang naman ito. So, copy lang si 200 sa baba. Then, 200, 0.05 times 0.05 times 200 is 0.5. Then, ipa-plus natin sa 1. That will be 200 divided by 1.5, which is equivalent to 133.33. At dahil wala namang taong 0.33 lang, so we round up palagi, pataas, hindi pababa. Hindi tayo magbababa kasi para mas mataas yung level of accuracy. So, ang tatanungin mo po ay 134 na respondents or sample out of the 200 population. No. I hope naintindihan yon. Sa mga developmental, hindi po natin ito kailangang isipin. No. Doon lang po sa mga descriptive. Okay? So let's now proceed to the research design. Ang research design ay hindi paglalagay ng mga flowers sa research. Ito yung napag-usapan na natin nung introduction pa lamang, because we just need to choose between the two general types of research design, which is the quantitative and the qualitative. So each of which describes the processes followed in collecting and analyzing data. So madali naman itong alamin. Most of the time, ito ang pinapursue natin, gaya ng sabi ko dati, we pursue the quantitative in the undergraduate level, not much with the qualitative. At the same time, medyo rigorous at medyo matagal matapos kapag qualitative. No? Kasi we dwell on the interviews. So, napag-usapan na rin natin ito, quantitative. So, we do have numbers. Kung developmental po ang inyong approach, quantitative po ito. Kung descriptive po at nagpapasurvey naman kayo, quantitative pa rin po ito. If you do use observations, at the same time ay interviews na verbal, kung saan open-ended ang mga questions, no? So qualitative yon on the other part. And napag-usapan na natin yan. At I hope na sa ngayon ay alam na ninyo kung ano ang inyong research design na ipopursue. Example, maiksi lang din, research design. The research design utilized, in your case, the research design that will be utilized in this study is developmental research. For developmental. Hindi na niya highlight kung quantitative ito because developmental research is an example of a quantitative research. No. So this design was used to come up with a product through the process of designing, constructing, testing, and evaluating to meet the requirements, specifications of the instructional trainer for building wiring installation. This aims to prepare the students' knowledge and skills before the actual training. Tingnan ko nga itong sample ng isa. This is foods. Research design. And so this study utilized quantitative and developmental methods. Ito'y foods to create vacuum-fried ubod chips. The acceptability of the chips was determined through a sensory evaluation sheet. Before the evaluation, respondents were oriented on how to properly evaluate the product. To evaluate the product, respondents were given a sufficient amount of chips and a score sheet. The product was further improved by seeking comments from experts. So, ang ginamit niya ay developmental method din, pero under ito ng quantitative. Kung qualitative ang gustong i-pursue at yun ang sabi ng inyong advisor, ay di gagawin po itong qualitative and do some discussions on this one. But I discourage using qualitative, no? Kasi yung last year na mga nag-pursue ng qualitative hanggang ngayon ay hindi pa nakakapag-final defense. Naiintindihan pa po? May tao pa dyan.
Yes po, sir.
Yes po.
Okay, may nagtatanong. May nagre-raise ba ng hand? May nagtatanong. Wala naman, may pumupuso. Okay. Let's proceed to the research instrument. Ang research instrument ang ating ginagamit para mag-gather ng data. So this part of research describes the tools to be used by the researcher. The tool refers to the questionnaire to be constructed, validated, or administered. Instrument that is prepared by the research should be tested for validity or reliability. Kung nakahanap kayo ng study na katulad ng inyo, pwede ninyong i-adapt yung questionnaire na ginagamit niya. Kaya lang, magpapaalam po tayo sa may-ari nung study. Most of the time naman ay makikita niyo yung mga email addresses sa mga publications. Pwede kayo mag-email at hingin ang kanilang consent na gagamitin ninyo. Kung ito naman ay inyong i-modify o may babaguhin kayong ilang mga statements, ay i-discuss nyo lang din po sa research instrument na meron kayong modification na ginawa. So, if the instrument is standardized, the researcher should indicate its reliability coefficient. Halimbawa, yung study ninyo, kung developmental, wala po tayong problem ha. Ang research instrument po kasi ng developmental ay plakado na sa SLSU Lucena kasi yun na yung standard na ginagamit natin under ISO. Kung ikaw po ay descriptive at ikaw ay gumawa ng sarili mong instrument kasi wala kang mahanap na mag-fit na instrument o survey or questionnaire or interview guide sa iyong study, ikaw mismo ang gumawa o yung grupo niyo ang gumawa, kailangan niya mag-undergo ng validity or reliability. Sa case po natin, it takes time to do this. Kaya sa SLSU Lucena, ang ginagawa po natin, sumusulat tayo sa mga panel members at sila po ang nag-validate po ng ating mga questionnaire. Kung kayo po ang gumawa. Kung standardized naman, hindi naman po kailangan. Ilagay lang po sa discussion ang reliability coefficient po niya. Kung galing po ito ng ISO for evaluating certain trainers, etc., edi no need. No, as long as you do not do modification. On the same manner, the author from where the questionnaire was adapted should be given credit through citation. So, isite po natin kung kinopya po natin ang instrument. Pagdating sa chapter 3, paglapat po niya, ay ganito po ang kanyang itsura. Yan, research instrument. Hindi pa ito yung mismong instrument. No, discussion lang ito ng kung ano yung research instrument mo. So, example, the researchers used a 5-point Likert scale. Yung Likert scale, yung 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, yung gitna, yung medyo, ayan, may discussion dito. To determine and evaluate the performance of the developed trainer, the 5-point Likert scale contains a descriptive rating of highly acceptable siya kapag 5, acceptable kapag 4, fairly acceptable kapag 3, unacceptable kapag 2, and highly unacceptable kapag 1. The instrument was adopted, so kinopya siya mula sa akin noong 2018, and permission was properly secured. Modification was done to the instrument to fit the current study. The researchers used this instrument to verify the acceptability of the trainer. It was answered by checking the scale that the respondents desired for the specific question, and the parameters of acceptability includes aesthetics, functionality, safety, workability, economy and cost, and educational applicability. Kung trainer ang inyong gagawin, ito po ang ating sinusunod na research instrument. So sa portion ng chapter 3, discussion lang ng research instrument pero hindi pa yan yung mismong instrument. This is an example. This is the example of an instrument. Yan. Nasa appendix sa ilalim. Research instrument. Siyempre, depende ito sa inyong study. In the case of this study, kailangan niya ng company name. Paano nalalaman kung anong laman ng research instrument? Magbe-base po kayo ay sa objectives of the study or statement of the problem. Kung nakalagay kasi sa halimbawa sa inyong statement of the problem, ay kailangan yung malaman kung ano ang sex, kung ano ang birthplace, kung ano ang pangalan, kung ano ang trabaho, kung ano ang socio-economic status. Kung yun ay nakalagay sa statement of the problem, dapat lalabas yun sa research instrument. Kasi ito yung pang-capture mo ng data na ilalagay sa chapter 4. So may business address, may nature of business. Yung respondent name po, lagi po yung optional. No? Then, yung position po niya, tsaka yung date. Then, merong kaunting instruction. No? So, inaayos din naman po ito ng mga advisors. So, read the statements below. The following groups of factors are about to measure the acceptability of the device. Kindly place a check. Yan, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Kung ang inyo pong mga respondents ay mga population na medyo hindi matatas sa pag-i-English. Halimbawa, grade 6 sila or grade 4 na parang hindi masyadong maiintindihan yung lengguaheng English, eh di kailangan nyo pong i-translate into Filipino para naiintindihan po nila. In some other cases, kung ang inyong pinag-aaralan naman po ay may sariling dialekto o lengguahe, i-translate nyo rin siya dun sa lengguahe na mauunawaan po nila para siguradong mayaman yung inyong makukuhang data. So, we measure the aesthetics, kumusta ba yung device, then functionality, safety, workability, economy and cost, and educational applicability. Ang thesis na to ay 2 years ago. So, yung ganitong statement ay hindi na namin tinatanggap sa panel. Pag sinabing ingenuity, tatanungin sa'yo, ano yun? So you need to convert ingenuity into a statement. Rigidity of the construction, you need to transform or translate or rephrase it into a statement na maiintindihan ng iyong uh, respondents or sample population. Kung hindi nila kayang intindihin, ay di i-explain mo sa kanila para masagot nila ng maayos. Then you do have the comments and suggestions sa last part, and you have the signature of the evaluator. Sa Appendix C, yan, ang naka-detail sa kanya, meron daw siyang 29 na experts. Hindi. 29 na respondents. 5 na engineers, diba yung kanina? Then 5 na trainers, then students na yung the rest. So, nakalista din po anong pangalan ng evaluator. Ito yung mga nag-declare ng pangalan. Kung hindi nag-declare, ay di blanco lang po ang ilalagay po natin. Ito naman pong list of evaluators ay sa final defense pa i-require. Pero make sure na naka-intact po. Huwag kayo magtatapon ng papel hanggat hindi pa po kayo nakakapagpasa ng inyong final manuscript sa next semester. Kasi baka may babalikan po tayo ng mga data, wala ka nang mapaghanapan. So, yan. May detail dito, ano yung position, ano yung office, etc. Yan. Those were the details. At meron din po tayong, ginagawa to sa chapter 4 na i-discuss next semester. Ano ang sagot ni respondent 1 sa question 1, sa question 2, at sa question 3. No? So, naka-detail itong lahat. Kaya huwag kayong magtatapon ng papel. Balik tayo kay chapter 3. Nakaka-follow pa po?
Yes, po, sir.
Okay. Tingnan natin yung example ng ito. Itong papel na to ay tungkol sa foods, pero hindi pa to masyadong polish. Ang nakuha ko lang sample ay medyo raw. Hindi ako advisor nito. So example, so the researchers used a survey instrument that involved sensory evaluation. Kasi usually naman, we measure the sensory evaluation kapag food or commodity yung dinevelop natin. They distributed the evaluation sheet to the respondents and used a 7-point hedonic. Alam ko naririnig to lagi ng FSM. The hedonic scale to assess the acceptability of the product based on various factors such as appearance, aroma, palatability, texture, color, and general acceptability. So meron siyang, ayun lang, tapos na dun. That's the research instrument. No? Kung ikaw po ay descriptive, magkakaiba po tayo ng discussion sa research instrument, depende sa kung ano po ang gagamitin ninyong instrumento. No? Halimbawa, nakakalito kasi dun sa discussion naman ni Sir ay yung descriptive ay parang nakahang kasi kanya-kanya. Pwede naman kayong pumunta sa akin ng personal para yung advice ay naka-address talaga sa kung ano ang pangangailangan ng inyong study. Pero syempre, unahin ninyong i-consult ang inyong advisor. No? Next, there are different tools or research instruments. So gumagamit tayo ng questionnaire, ng interview, ng observations, documents, or records. Most of the time, we use the documents or records. Halimbawa, gustong i-measure kung may effect ba sa grade yung ginamit namin na something or on intervention. So, tinitingnan natin yung records. No? Pero most of the time, we apply that to action research pagdating yun ng 4th year, not during this time na kayo ay 3rd year. Most of the time, we use survey instrument or questionnaire. Kung qualitative, we do the interviews and observations. And okay na tayo dyan. And so validity and reliability, readability, etc. Pag may mga ganitong concern, i-raise ko naman ito sa inyo. Makikita ko kasi sa inyong instrument. Tapos, i-request natin sa panel na i-validate nila ang inyong instrument. Let's now proceed to the data gathering procedure. So, itong part na ito ang nag-explain kung paano mag-gather ng data. And example, kay Flores noong 2007. For the purpose of acquiring data from the student respondents, a formal letter was sent to the offices of the campus director and deans of the 4 institutes requesting permission to administer the research instruments to the sophomore students of the university. Lipat tayo ng sample. Yan, dito, para mas contextualize. Yan. The researchers requested a letter of approval, which was duly endorsed by the advisor and then approved by the campus director on the development and evaluation of the instructional trainer for building wiring installation. So, una, after nyo kasing magawa ng chapter 1, 2, 3, magde-defense kayo. Pag nakapasa sa defense, mag-edit kung ano ang gusto ng panel, then magsasubmit sa akin ng final manuscript proposal. After noon, pagpasok ninyo ng Research 2 next semester sa akin, ang una kong i-require sa inyo ay yung letter. Ayan, ito, yung request letter na dapat approved ng campus director bago kayo mag-start ng inyong data gathering or pag-conduct or pag-develop ng kung ano man ang i-develop ninyo. So the researcher modified the adapted questionnaire which was then forwarded to the experts, tas validate. Then regarding the experts' remarks and suggestions, ni-revise ninyo yung questionnaire. Then following that, the revised checklist was used to assess the aesthetics, functionality, etc. And with the assistance of the research and technical advisors, yung data ay in-arrange, kinalculate, in-analyze, at in-interpret. Okay. So that is the data gathering procedure. Mula sa pag-secure ng request letter sa office ng campus director, then halimbawa, meron pa ditong mga data na, let's say for example, namigay kayo ng questionnaire in a particular village, tapos iniwan nyo sa kanila, tapos after a week, binalikan ninyo, nagkaroon kayo ng follow-up, so you put those details into the data gathering procedure, at magtatapos ang data gathering procedure na ito with the data were arranged, calculated, analyzed, and interpreted. Pwedeng ibang bahagi, pero hanggang dito lang tayo palagi sa part na ito. Kasi ang kasunod na niyan ay analysis of the data, which will be part of the chapter 4. Next, work plan. Kung ikaw ay descriptive, wala ka pong work plan. Ang kasunod mo na yata ay statistical treatment. Balikan ko lang. Data gathering procedure for descriptive, evaluation criteria. Tapusin ko lang muna sa descriptive. Evaluation criteria. Yeah, or evaluation procedure. Sa evaluation criteria, dito may i-detail, usually you do have the table. Yan. Kung gumamit ka ng 5-point Likert scale, ay i-detail mo kung anong ibig sabihin ng 5, highly acceptable po siya. Ito po yung code na ginamit, HA. Then ito po yung range. So pag ang lumabas po na result ay 4.23, iisipin ko na siya ay nasa loob nito at siya ay highly acceptable, automatic. Kung 3.22, edi under po siya nito kasi ito yung range dito sa number 3, ibig sabihin that's fairly acceptable. Ibig sabihin, how are you going to evaluate the data that you have gathered? Wait lang ha. Okay na, I'm back. Sa descriptive, most of the time, we drop number 5. Sinasuggest ng panel na gamitin na lang ay 1, 2, 3, 4. Kasi kapag 5, yung gitna, most of the time, ay playing safe na sinasagot ng mga respondents or ng sample population. Kaya hindi ka rin makaderive sa dulo kasi yung gitna ay palaging parang, oo naman, pero hindi rin. So, inaalis yung 5 para 1, 2, 3, 4. Yung 2, yung ayaw, yung 3 and 4, yung gusto. Then, ang last part dun ay statistical treatment. sa descriptive. So for the statistical treatment, the researchers utilize the formula of average weighted mean. Most of the time, ito lang naman po ang ating ginagamit. No? So ito yung formula ng average weighted mean. Ina-average mo lang. Recently, we are using the mode as statistical treatment, lalo po sa developmental. No? So AWM stands for average weighted mean, summation, then WM as weighted mean, then N number of respondents. Then we compute. Kung ang iyong data ay i-evaluate lang using the statistical treatment na average weighted mean o kaya naman po ay mode, ay di kayang-kaya na po yan ni advisor at kayang-kaya nyo na po yan as a researcher. Ituturo na lang sa inyo ni advisor o kahit po ako, lumapit na lang sa akin kung paano siya gawin kasi madali lang naman. Pero if you're going to venture into mas malalim na statistical treatment, kailangan po natin ng consultation with a statistician. At yung statistician po ay atin pong binabayaran. 1,000 per study or per title. Po. Pero base po sa inyong mga titles na inilatag nung title defense, parang wala naman pong mas lalalim pa dito sa average weighted mean o kaya naman po ay sa median na statistical treatment. Okay. Punta po tayo sa mga developmental. Additional part ng developmental sa chapter 3 ay the work plan. So ang work plan ay di plano ng paggagawa. So this part includes the development of a research from conceptualization to finalization. So most studies include, ang ginagamit po natin ay Gantt chart to provide graphical representation of the plans to be undertaken. Ito ang example ng Gantt chart. So ano yung mga methods na inyo pong gagamitin at kailan po siya target matapos? So example, yung planning and research for project proposal, August ko siya gagawin. Yung data gathering for documentation, September siya. Preparing for the materials nung gagawin kong device, October to. Construction of the project, November ito. System implementation, hindi pala. November, December, and January. System implementation and evaluation, February yan. And final evaluation, gagawin ko siya ng Feb para makapag-final defense ako ng March. No? So, kaya madaming isip ang kailangan ninyong gawing mag-partner o kung tatlo man kayo, kayong trio. Kasi pag-iisipan ninyo, anong una bang gagawin? Anong ilalagay natin dito? Tapos anong kasunod? Then you need to consult your advisor. Kaya kayo nilalagyan ng advisor, kaya nga, kasi from time to time, para meron kayong matanong, ay ano po ba ma'am ang nilalagay dito? Kasi hindi ko po alam. Ito po yung study ko. No? So by consultation, magkakalinawan kayo kung ano ang mga dapat po ninyong ilagay. That's the work plan. When we put that into the paper, it goes like this. Yan. Work plan. Table 1. Work plan. May formatting po tayo ng table. Hindi ko pa pala yung na-discuss. At saka formatting ng figures. Sige, discuss ko muna ang table. Ang table, kapag naglagay tayo, yung APA format, ganito ang formatting. Table 1, not italic, normal, not bold. Then, yung title ng table, work plan of the study, naka-enter ng isa mula sa table 1. Tapos, naka-italic dapat siya. Tapos, sa buong table, yan, kung nakikita nyo, sa buong table, walang naka-bold at 3 lang dapat ang makikitang linya. Itong linya na to, itong linya na ito, at itong linya sa ilalim. That's the APA format. Kapag nagkaroon kayo ng table sa chapters 1 to 3 na punong-puno ng mga linya, automatic itutupi ito ng panel kasi ang susulat nila, APA format. 3 lang dapat ang linya. Isa, dalawa, at saka yung nandito. Kaya kung pansinin nyo ito, walang mga linyang iba. Tapos walang naka-bold. So, yan ang formatting po natin ng table. Ha. Tandaan, yung table number, table 1 ay hindi italic. Naka-enter ng isa, then yung title ng table na naka-italic. Then yung table mismo ay 3 lang ang linya. Tapos walang naka-bold. Pakitandaan din po na hindi tayo nagka-cut ng table. Ibig sabihin, hindi po kasya yung table ko sa isang page. Natawid po talaga siya kasunod na page. So, we never allow cutting tables. Anong ginagawa natin? Liitan nyo yung font. So, pwede nyong laruin yung font ng table mismo. Pwedeng 10, pwedeng 8, pwedeng 9. Basta yung mababasa pa para magkasya siya sa isang page. Paano kung niliitan ko na po pero hindi po talaga kasya? If that will be the case, pwede nyong gawin ay hatiin ang table sa dalawa para siya ay magiging table 1 at table 2. No, hahatiin nyo siya para hindi ka magkakat. Yung table 2 will be titled Work Plan of the Study, open parenthesis, continued, close parenthesis. Naiintindihan?
Yes po, sir.
Okay. So, hindi
Sir.
naiintindihan, balikan na lang po ang video. Punta tayo sa figure muna. Figure. Punta ako sa chapter 2. How do we put figures? Yan. Ganito ang figure. Lahat ng figure dapat ay nakabox ng kulay black. Tapos, ganito yung formatting. Ito'y 12 ha. Yung figure na word, tsaka yung number, tsaka yung period, naka-italic. Figure 5, italic. Tapos, yung pangalan ng figure, panel board, hindi italic. Tapos, naka-drop down. Ibig sabihin, ang malaki lang ay yung first letter. Itong second word, yung first letter niya, maliit. Kung maraming words, lahat ng letters from the second word hanggang sa dulo, maliit lahat. Ang malaki lang yung una. Gets nyo?
Opo.
Tingnan nyo to. Naka-box, figure 4, naka-italic, then miniature house, yung M malaki, but yung H maliit. Paano kung dinownload mo ang picture? Wala ba akong sample din? Ay, wala. Dinownload mo yung picture mula sa internet. So, wala man akong sample. Pero ganito lang po yan. Mag-open ako ng blank. Yan. Dito na lang. So, naka-center, figure 1, period, halimbawa ay circuit breaker. Yan. So, syempre, dapat naka-times new Roman at naka-12. Tapos, yung figure ay naka-italic. Yan. So, that's how you format it. Then, enter. Let's say, for example, galing siya sa www.researchgate.com. Yan. Kapag meron kang URL, ang pagitan ng dalawa ay dapat single spacing. Yan. Magkadikit. Diba, double spacing tayo all throughout the document. Pero pag nagsosourcing ka na galing sa internet for a figure, dapat naka-single space itong dalawa. Tapos, susulatan mo sa unahan, pindot naman. Susulatan mo sa unahan ng salitang source, colon, space. Tapos, ito ay 9 lang ang size. Yan. 9. Tapos, yung salitang source ay italic. Medyo marikit dami-daming mga sinusunod. But ito yung formatting natin kay SLSU. Yan. Ganito ang magiging itsura niya. So, may nakasulat na source sa unahan, naka-italic. Ang font size ay 9. Tapos, yung URL mo, active, ibig sabihin, kulay blue. O pag pinindot ko ay mapupunta ako dun sa figure. Tapos, siya po ay 9 din. Paano kung ang akin pong URL ay sobrang haba? Meron di bang ganun? Na pag nagkuha ka ng picture, circuit breaker, images. Yan. Tingnan nyo, ito napakahaba, di ba? Grabe naman. Yan. Pag napakahaba, katulad na rin, hanapin niyo yung source talaga niya. Puntahan ninyo. Then natin mas mag-iiksi. Then you copy and you put it into your document. Sorry. Yan. Then active. Yan. Gets?
Opo. Yes po, sir.
Halimbawa, sobrang haba talaga, ang pangit tingnan. So, pag ganun ang case, putulin ninyo yung URL. Ang itira ninyo ay yung main URL. Ano ibig sabihin ng main URL? Hanggang dito lang sa .com. www.mitsubishielectric.com. Paano ko i-delete? Yan. Putulin ninyo, yung main URL lang ang inyong ilagay. Yan. Gets?
Opo,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. O, balikan natin ang pinag-uusapan natin. Yan. Yan. So, ito yung ating work plan. Next, system development. So, kung computer programming ka, may system development ka. Kung ikaw ay trainer, project development. Kung ikaw ay foods, process development nga ba ang ginagamit? Can I see? Processing procedure. Yan. Kung ikaw ay foods, processing procedure ang ginagamit. So, simulan natin dito sa system. So this part is usually present on developmental research under technology research category, project development kapag hardware research ang gagawin, and software development kung software. So kung mobile application, games, ay di software development or system development. Kapag siya ay trainer at gagawa ka ng device, project development. Ngayon, kung yung device mo may system, ay di dalawa. Meron kang project development para sa hardware na nag-welding, gumamit ka ng rivet para mapagsama-sama, gumamit ka ng kahoy, that's the project development. Then may programming part ka rin pala, eh di meron kang separate na system development. So this is the general workflow of the procedures, how to construct, fabricate, develop an inventive or modified device. Pupunta na tayo sa sample para madali. We'll now proceed to that part. So, mag-start tayo sa project design. Ano to ha? Trainer muna ha? Trainer. Project design. So, discussion, the instructional trainer for building wiring installation will be developed to help the students in developing their skills in electrical wiring. It was equipped with parts and assembly that reflect wiring setups. The design of the trainer gives consideration for cost-effective measures. Materials used for the prototype are of utmost importance. Selection depends on the characteristics, applications, limitations, safety considerations. Figure 9 shows the project design of the trainer. So, ito yung project design. So, disenyo, drawing, may dimension, may sukat na nakalagay. Anong itsura niya? Ano ang plano ninyong maging itsura? Ngayon, nasa proposal part ka pa lang, tapos peperasahin ka ng gumawa nito. Kung ano pa lang yung initial ninyong naiisip na itsura, edi yun ang inyong ilagay. Magbabago naman yan kapag kinandak na ninyo. Kasi, ay maganda pala, malagyan pala ng cover. So, you also update your chapter 3 as you do your research. No? So, sa ngayon, dahil nagpo-propose pa lang tayo, ang gusto nating makita, possible ba? At kaya ba? At cost-effective ba? So, kung ano yung naisip nyo na project design, ilagay ninyo. Of course, with consultation with technical advisor. Alam nyo, ang inyong mga technical advisor, hindi nyo masyadong mapapakinabangan sa chapters 1, chapter 2, pero sa chapter 3 nyo talaga sila makukuhaan ng input regarding kung may kailangan ba kung activity diagram, ano po bang itsura. Tapos, meron pa yung mga katulad nito. Yan, this is the exploded diagram of the trainer. Saan mo ikakabit yung bawat parts na ilalagay mo diyan sa iyong project. Tapos, kasunod niyan, of course, lagi po tayo may discussion ha, kung ano yung naka-display diyan. Then, meron kang schematic diagram, may connection niya ng mga bulb. Si technical advisor ang kailangan mong tanongin diyan. Gagawa ka ng trainer para sa automotive. ano po bang itsura? So, mahalaga na marunong ka rin mag-drawing o marunong ka mag-AutoCAD. And you look for assistance ng iyong technical advisor. Minsan, o most of the time, pag tinanong mo si advisor mo, regarding this part, ang pwede niyang gawin ay tulungan ka kung paano mag-discuss. Pero when it comes to the technicalities, ang sasagot ay si technical advisor. Ano po? Then you do have the pictorial diagram. Ano ito ha? It differs. Depende sa kung ano ang drive na gusto nyong gawin at kung ano ang advice ni advisor. Minsan kasi, pag sinubmit sa akin ng paper, halimbawa, advice ko, ito lang ang nakalagay. Tapos sasabihin ko, lagyan nyo ng exploded, gusto ko may ganun. Lagyan nyo ng schematic, ano yung connection ng mga wiring dyan, ilagay ninyo. Tapos lagyan nyo ng pictorial diagram para naiintindihan ko kung ano yung gusto nyong gawin. So, kaya mahalaga na nakikipag-usap tayo sa advisor. Kasi kapag hindi nyo na-satisfy sa advisor with your paper, hindi rin kayo i-endorse for defense. No? So, lagi pong makipag-usap. Then, you do have the project development. So, okay lang itong kopyahin kasi you do have the project plan and design. Then, nagpa-fabricate naman talaga, nagte-testing, then you may finalization, then may evaluation ng acceptability o kung gumagana ba yung iyong ginawang device. So, you can copy this part kung ikaw ay developmental. Siyempre, hindi pwede sa foods. Mamaya, pag-usapan natin yung tungkol sa foods. Kung ikaw ay descriptive, edi wala po itong mga pinag-uusapan natin ito na pahuli. Then you do have the discussion, then you have the project development flowchart. Ito pwede nyo lang din kopyahin, pero i-review po ninyo kung applicable sa inyo, katulad ng start. References, ideas, and concepts muna. Magagather ako ng mga data. Then, development planning. Maggagawa ko ng mga sketch and drawing. Tapos, may kasunod na tanong, okay ba yung plano? Pag yes, diretso tayo sa identification and acquisition of needed supplies and materials. Kung hindi naman siya okay, balik tayo dito sa references, ideas, and concepts. So, i-review ninyo kung ano ang laman nitong project development flowchart kung ito ay applicable sa inyo. After ko mag-identify ng mga materials at makakuha ng mga materials and supplies, anong kasunod? I will do fabrication, procedures, and possible modification. Okay na ba yung device? Gumagana? Kung yes, diretso ka dito sa kabila, conducting performance testing. Kung hindi okay yung device, no ang sagot, balik ka dun sa development planning, sketches, and drawing. Bakit hindi nagana nung sinaksak mo, sumabog? Anong gagawin? Yan. Kung kayo ay medyo may, ano tawag dito? Kung may risk ng mga pagsabog, make sure na pag magte-testing kayo ay present ang inyong technical advisor. Yan. Kung okay sa performance testing, pasado ba? Yes po. So, mag-acceptability evaluation na. Kung hindi, balik na naman. So, paggawa ng device, ite-test, gumagana ba o hindi? Pag hindi, i-refine, baka may mali sa mga drawing, may mali sa programming, etc. Then, i-performance testing ulit hanggat hindi siya umu-okay. Bago kayo magpunta sa acceptability evaluation. Pinaka-last yung acceptability evaluation. Acceptable ba siya? Yes. Then you do the project documentation, writing chapter 4, then improvement recommendation and suggestions and end. Kung hindi pa rin, edi balik po sa taas. Next part is the project technical description. May presentation ako dyan. Yan. The project technical description the project study separates itself from other forms of research design because of the technicality in terms of its technology. So yung portion na ito ng developmental research ay nagbibigay ng detalye sa technicalities ng inyong study. It summarizes the technical aspects that may include details on the various parts. Ano ba yung mga parts? Ano ba yung power source? 110 ba? 220 ba? Direct current ba? Alternating current ba? Gagamit ba ng Wi-Fi? Connection ng layout, saan ikakabit ang isang wire with the other? Meron bang ilalagay na mouse or keyboard? Yung circuitry and the likes. So, ito yung example. Yan. The instructional trainer for building wire installation is specifically intended for the students of BTVT major in electrical technology. The primary aim of this trainer was to help learners acquire new and enhance, etc. Punta na tayo sa introduction ito kung umpisa eh. Yan, let's proceed with the details. The circuit breaker plays a crucial part in the trainer. It safeguards the whole line where it provides a protection against possible overloads, short circuits, and faults. Short circuits are one of the problems that the learner faces. That's why different circuit breakers for specific components are given. Yan. As a result, power may move continuously from the electrical panel to all the attached devices. The circuit breaker used for the trainer consists of, ito yung mga technical details, 15 ampere for 2 lighting fixtures, 20 ampere for the 2 convenience outlet, etc. Next, yung bulb, meron daw 2 LED bulbs in the trainer na merong 5 watts na kulay puti. The bulbs are connected through the number 14 wire. Then other details of the wire, connected from line 2 of the 15 ampere to the light bulbs, may mga switch na nakalagay. So those were the technical details ng kung ano ang inyong magagawa na device. Naintindihan pa? Nalilito na?
Yes po.
Yes pa rin. Mas
Dali.
naiintindihan kapag nagsusulat na. At
Nahihilo
saka,
na po.
itong project technical description, di maglagay lang kayo sa ngayon kasi mahirap talaga maglagay ng project technical description nang wala pa yung device. Kasi nga, hindi mo alam kung saan ko ba kinonect yung isang wire papunta sa kabila. Meron ba akong LED or LCD na gagamitin? Yan, etc. So, you can just put general statements for the proposal. Tapos, kapag nag-conduct na kayo, unti-unti na itong ma-revise kasi magiging na siyang fully technical. Ito po. Next, operation and testing procedures. So, napakahalaga ng operation and testing procedure kasi kung hawak ko na yung device, paano ko siya i-operate at paano ko siya i-test. So, ganito ang itsura niya. Yan. So, yung device, nakita niyo yung device na rin kanina na mukhang bahay. Meron tayong operation and testing procedure. Paano ko ba i-install? Step 1, connect the meter base to the 40 ampere breaker. Step 2, connect T1 of 20 ampere breaker to the T1 of ACU1 outlet and jump to the T1 of ACU2. Yan, ito ay step by step. So, ganito rin yung makikita natin dapat sa inyong mga papel. May step by step. Kung kailangan i-install, edi you give details on the installation. Kung hindi naman, edi kung ano yung applicable. Paano ba siya buksan? Halimbawa, kung ito ay mobile application, edi ilalagay mo dito na una, dapat nakakonect ka sa Wi-Fi. Pangalawa, lalabas yung login page. Tapos kailangan mo ng login credential. May username at may password. So, magkakaiba din kasi kung admin ang magla-login, iba yung credential niya. Kung ang magla-login naman ay user, iba rin ang credential niya. So, it differs din dito. No? Sa operation and testing procedure. So, you do have the step-by-step operation procedure. Kasi yung kanina install, mag-install daw muna. Then, merong operation procedure. Orient muna the students to follow the proper wiring installation. Create or discuss a sample schematic diagram, check the materials, paano i-operate. May pipindutin bang kulay pulang buton o may kulay green? Tapos pag pinindot ba yun, may iilaw na something. Tapos may maglalabas ba sa LED? Ano ang mangyayari? Kung ito ay yung mga trainer na tungkol sa automotive, baka may kailangan ikambyo. No, baka kailangang may pindutin para bumusina yung iyong sasakyan o kung yung electrical connection ng sasakyan. So you do have the operational procedure. Huwag kalimutan yung safety ha kapag safety precautions kapag involved ang kuryente. Then you have the testing procedure. So paano i-test? In this case, tatanungin ako ng bata, paano nyo ba test kung gumagana? In their case, gumagamit sila ng multimeter. Yung ibang study, sa pag-test po, kapag umilaw po yung green, ibig sabihin, tama yung ginawa ng student na connection. So, that's your testing procedure. Tapos, iniisa-isa ito. Gumagana ba yung buzzer kung may buzzer? Gumagana ba yung LED? Gumagana ba yung brake? So, paano natin matitest na gumagana siya? So, that is, dyan yung lalagay sa testing procedures. Hindi lahat ng advisor ay nagre-require ng maintenance, pero pag akong advisor, I do put maintenance. Paano ko ma-maintain ang na gumagana yung inyong device? So, humihiling ako ng part na ito. Yan. Then, you do have also the evaluation procedure kasi ito pa rin, yung katulad ng binanggit ko kanina, kung anong inyong gagamitin. Kung 5-point, you can copy this part. Kung 4-point, meron naman tayong mga nakapublish na online na pwede nyong i-adapt. And for the statistical treatment at developmental po ito, acceptability lang naman. So, we use average weighted mean or median. No, recently, ang ginagamit na natin ay median, yung pinakagitnang data ng mga responses. Yun ang chapter 3. So, okay na ako kay descriptive, okay na tayo kay developmental. Punta tayo kay foods. Ang tawag dyan ay processing procedure. Lagyan mo itong close. Yun. So, processing procedure, meron siyang process of pre-treatment. Yan. Bago mo lutuin yung iyong shell, may pre-treatment. Anong gagawin? In their case, step 1, cut the ubod into shoestring-like pieces. Step 2, wash and soak into warm water. So, alam nyo yan kung paano nyo i-prepare. Tanungin nyo ang inyong mga technical advisors. Ano po ba yung pre-treatment? Bago na, hindi pwedeng luto agad, di ba? Baka kailangang ibabad into some chemicals para makumunat siya o mabuo siya, etc. Then you discuss. Figure 6 shows the process of making ubod. The raw materials used for used are ubod and oil. Kung paano siya dinidiscuss, you can refer to the thesis na available sa library. Mag-visit kayo ng library kasi doon din kayo makakakuha ng mga idea kung paano siya ginagawa. Yan, diniscuss niya. Then, meron siyang detail na hindi siya masyadong pulido. So, may detalye siya na kung paano gagawin yung vacuum fried ubod chips. Binlunch muna yung ubod sa bowl full of ice for 5 minutes. Then, inalis at sinala. Tapos, nilagay sa airtight ziplock at i-freeze for about 24 hours at 18 degrees Celsius. Then, vacuum fry for about 50 minutes at 60 degrees. Then, drain for 16 minutes. Cut the ubod in shoestring and blanch them in boiling water, etc. Toss the vacuum fried ubod in 100 grams and weigh 100 grams in the desired packaging material. Then you have the output, which is the vacuum fried ubod chips. Kung ako ay panel nito, hihingan ko to ng yung nakabox dapat yung figure kasi figure ito. Then you do have the discussion. Then meron siyang details sa vacuum frying process. So kung pinrito, ginawang chicharon, nilagyan ng harina. So you have the pre-treatment. Tapos yung ano mismo, yung process mismo kung paano na siya gagawin. So open the vacuum frying machine, preheat in 60 degrees Celsius, put the oil inside the vacuum frying, etc. Wag po kayo maglalagay ng actual picture ng processes din. Yan. After po ng process na yon, diretso na po kayo sa statistical treatment. No, wala kayong technical description. Yung project technical description. You proceed to the statistical treatment. Ang ginagamit natin dito ay weighted mean. Then hedonic sa evaluation criteria, yung 1 to 7, extremely appealing, very appealing. Kaya lang magkakaiba kasi yung ginagamit yung evaluation kapag appearance, kapag aroma, yan, nag-iiba kasi ng statement. Katulad dito, appealing, sa kabila, in terms of aroma, extremely strong aroma, very strong aroma, etc. Iba din kapag, color, extremely golden brown. Kapag palatability, you can copy this kasi standardize ito sa foods, extremely palatable. Then, para saan to? Texture, extremely crispy, very crispy, moderately crispy, or soggy siya. Then, ano yung general acceptability in terms of texture? Aring isa ay appearance, aroma, color, taste, texture, etc. Then, you do have the materials and procedure. So, in creating ubod chips, the following ingredients were used. So, ano po yung mga ingredients? At ano ang mga procedure? Prepare po lahat ng necessary equipment, tools, nag-rinse, nag-scald ng ubod sa boiling water, in-strain, etc. Step by step hanggang sa dulo. Eh, di tapos na. Question? I'll stop recording now.